Welcome back, all. So we just emerged from our shrine. You can see there's a loose boulder wall here to grab. Go ahead and get your loot. Now, we just emerged from that shrine and talked to that construct there. It didn't really give us a choice. And he gave us the battery pack, or the energy cell, whatever the game calls that. So from here, we're actually going to be taking advantage of that energy cell. And we're going to be building some devices at this point where we can put fans and other kind of powered stuff together. Now we've only got the one, so it's going to not last very long. It's going to be a pretty quick deal. But there's a way to really build that up pretty quickly, and I'll show you all how to do that when the time comes. Alright, but for now, we've got a korok seed. Yeah-ha-ha-ha-ha. And I'll show you on the map where we're at. That's where our loot was. That's where that secret tunnel was. So from here, we're going to be hitting that spot. And there's actually a couple of caves we're going to be getting along the way, 3 in all. So I'm just going to kind of highlight some real key points here so A, I don't miss them. This is probably about the 5th time I've done this walkthrough now because I just keep missing stuff. So I am going to learn. I'm a slow learner, but I do learn. And I'm going to pre-mark some of this stuff. And I think that's pretty much it for right now. We're eventually going to emerge over here. That'll be another kind of key spot there. I think that'll be good enough for now. That'll kind of get us going. Alright, so without any further ado, careful hopping down here. So now that we can actually combine weapons, this really starts making the game more exciting to me. You're not going to find a lot of real good just base weapons laying around. You got to just build them. Alright, so we're going to come across a couple of baddies here. Just let them kind of duke it out. There will be a couple of chews there. And, you know, just kind of saves your weapon strength. This way they kind of damage each other. And I like to get them down to where there's only one chew left, and then I'll kill one or the other construct. And then I really only have one construct to deal with it. Oh no, they actually killed the chews. Normally I'd get to one of them before, but they knocked both those suckers out together. Alright, so anyway, it works out the same. Just, at this point, I'm going to start building weapons here. I don't think I used my other long stick, so... Real simple process. Go ahead and toss those horns out I mentioned. Since we got so many of them, might as well just go ahead and, you know, craft them up. And I like to do a one-handed and a spear. Now they do not let you do the Master Sword, unfortunately, so you can't really make anything out of that. Now, this next bad boy nest, you can see there's a guy out here in the open, and there's some more back there a bit. But we're going to deal with this guy first. Why? Because he's got a weapon that really has good reach to it, and he will reach out and touch someone with that thing, and that someone will be you. So I recommend just knocking him out with a headshot real fast. Those other guys are going to be heading this way, and they're going to be on fire. So if you want, you can just kind of, you know, dive right into battle, use that rusted shield. But I love my bow and arrow in this game. So I just kind of do it that way. Okay, he's going to really want to wind that two-handed swinger up there, so... That's why, I usually just get these guys in the air with bow and arrow. Alright, so as you can see, they're all dead at this point. I think I got all my parts. They're not really considered monster parts, but we'll just call them robot parts for now. Okay, now notice the difference in the rocks here. You've got one flat and one kind of round. So what I'm actually going to do is show you guys to kind of give you an idea on what the differences are here. I've been using that a lot, so I'm going to get rid of it. But that's a two-hander, isn't it? That's okay. That'll work out just the same. So one-handed or two-handed weapon is okay. That thing's about to break. So go ahead and get that thing out and attach that skinnier rock and that's going to make an axe. So if you use the fatter, rounder rock, it's going to give you another club or hammer, whatever. If you find those smaller, skinnier, flatter rocks, that will give you your axe. Ask me no more questions. Alright, that's a pretty decent weapon, so I'm going to sacrifice... Huh. I really don't want to sacrifice anything, but again, just make sure you have at least one axe. You know what? This is good enough. I'm going to clear the chest so now I think about it. I actually had a pretty good inventory right now. I really haven't been breaking weapons on this round. So yeah, I'm just going to keep the one axe I have. I'll just make mental note not to use that for busting crates open for the time being. Make sure I can make those tree ladders that I mentioned earlier on. Alright, so we do have a cave right here, but before we dive in, we're going to climb this bad boy. And this is probably going to be a great time to show you why I keep just those little sliver staminas packed. Because that's really all you need to get to the top. Alright, we're coming up here for a korok seed. There's probably some more mushrooms up here too, so just take a quick walk around and gather that stuff. Matter of fact, I can see one right in front of me. Alright, and go ahead and lob a fire arrow down there at that deal. Or you don't even have to use an arrow, you can just literally toss. I'm going to show you that too, since the game doesn't really teach you that. Hold the R down like you're going to throw a weapon. Like you see Link's getting ready to toss there. Just like with them arrows. Hold that up arrow down, you'll get your menu open. Select what you want, let go of that up arrow, and now you're ready to toss. So now when you let go of R, you will end up lobbing whatever you were holding on to. I really don't understand why the game doesn't teach you all this stuff right off the bat. And honestly, I've been back and forth whether or not I wanted to include that so early in the game, in case you're a beginner. So if that stuff just isn't clicking for you right now, don't worry about it. There'll be time to figure it out. And at some point, the game will actually teach you these mechanics. So again, we just came up here for the korok seed. Now I'm going to kind of head back down the way we came. And I actually didn't mark that treasure chest, did I? Woohoo! Alright, so now you see on the map where we're at. And again, do exercise a little bit of caution hopping down here. Try to kind of catch some of this cliff so you don't take the entire fall there. And as soon as you get in and you see that discovery and it tells you what it is, it actually marks the map for you. So notice my mini map there. So just in case you do find a cave and, you know, maybe you don't want to dive right in, just trigger it so that it opens the map icon there for you. And you'll be able to... Talking, not paying attention here. And you'll be able to come back to it at a later point if you so desire, and you don't have to worry about trying to, you know, remember exactly where it was. You'll have a map marker there. Alright, folks, I mentioned carrying around a couple of hammers, and this is why. Take the time to get your gemstones every chance you get. And again, if you don't need it for quests or some other random stuff, you'll have it for selling, or suit upgrades, or just tons of stuff that you might need them for. Alright, so here's our first bubble frog. Take the time to get these guys too. Every single cave, not including wells. Wells are a different type of party. But every single actual named cave is going to have a bubble frog and a bubble gem in there for you. Alright, so you get that headshot, it'll, you know, kind of knock them down, and you'll be able to go over there and get them that way. Okay, I'm just busting through this wall here for some more gemstones. And again, I'm trying to save the weapon durability. You don't really need to knock those down. You just need enough room to be able to get in there. And also, guys, on these light bloom seeds, take the time to collect them too. Once we get down into the depths, you are going to be tossing those things out like you're at a parade, and it is free candy. That's really going to light up our world down there, so absolutely take the time to collect this stuff. Okay, we got some bats down here. There are bats in my belfry. And yes, that is probably dual meaning. Alright, so go ahead and take a moment to get your treasure chest here, and this is that second piece of clothing I mentioned earlier on. Again, it's not much, but it's better than zero. Alrighty, we're going to go ahead and finish our way out through the cave here. That's the way we came down, so don't get turned around here. And there's a couple of constructs. Always take the time to talk to your characters here. But for now, I'm just really looking for a mushroom. There he is. And of course, some more arrows. And matter of fact, I'm going to take a moment to start using my rune on some of these easier open arrow ones, just so I'm not tearing up my weapons too much. Those don't break in one hit, that's unfortunate. The pots do, but the barrels do not. Alright, so don't try to build a boat here. If you try to make this your build-a-boat workshop, that will not work out for you. They're going to get upset and tell you some stuff I don't even bother reading. All I know is we got to come over here for these materials. Now, actually, before we do this, I'm getting ahead of myself, see? That's why I got the markers down. I knew that was going to happen. I can't tell you how many times I've had to redo this walkthrough because I'm just having a good old time and having a little party over here, and I missed stuff, so I remembered it this time. We're going to make a little stairwell or staircase with these things. You're going to need 3. So see, I already kind of messied this up. I'm going to need to get myself a little bit higher here so I can reach that top one and bring him down. But you really only need 3. They put 4 there. So again, you just kind of have to get creative here. And that, yeah, it should work out. Okay, and just kind of make that staircase that I was talking about. They don't have to be touching each other per se, but you do want to make sure you're going to be able to get to where you're going. Okay, now there's going to be a bad guy back here. He's already sees me. Now this is going to be a fun one, guys. This is where you might want to save that game, because he's going to be a little bit stronger, harder to kill. He's going to have a tougher weapon than what you've been used to dealing with. And I believe he lights it on fire. No, he does not light it on fire. Okay, so what I like to do is just take advantage of the bow and arrow. I'm going to do this a couple of times at least. I'm going to drill him right in the head, get double damage there. And just kind of rinse, lather, and repeat from this vantage point here. It's real quick and easy to get back on top of. And, you know, you get him stunned there, too, so he's not just lobbing arrows at you the entire time or chasing you down. But he... look at that. I didn't even realize he moved on me. But he does have that bow and arrow, so be aware he can reach out and touch you with that. And as you can see, it doesn't take too much effort. You'll be able to kill him pretty quickly. And these bows tend to drop super fast, or break super fast. So I always like to kind of refresh those as I go and keep them good and renewed as we head along here. Okay, so as you can see, I really came down here for the cooking ingredients, but there's also a treasure chest up here. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to start digging into this axe here, which is fine. It'll get us this tree ladder built here. And then we got one more tree ladder we're going to have to build. And technically, we don't really have to. I just find it easier when we get up to that shrine there. What am I doing? There we go. Okay, so just kind of set it there, and it should kind of find a way to just sit still, standing upright. Climb that bad boy for your treasure chest. Okay, that's where he's at. So go ahead and go back the way we came. We're going to use that stairwell we went ahead and pre-built there. And if, you know, you really want another way back up, you can always climb this tree here. It's just going to be quite a bit on your stamina. You'll find this is probably much easier anyway. Not only that, this is kind of where we're heading to for our next cave. Alright, so there's some more fishing to do down in here. Always take the opportunities to gather your fish. Some more barrels here. But for now, I'm just going to go ahead and get this boat built. Build a boat workshop. And center mass, just like the other boat, guys. You want this thing to have some center mass to it. So that's 3. And then that puts a fan on either side. And that'll help the boat just kind of go the way you want it to versus spinning around in circles out there. So go ahead and plop that bad boy in the water. And you can see it's already trying to turn on me here, which is cool. Okay, I don't know if that actually damages weapons, but you do have to hit those to activate them. And I've never actually seen one of my weapons show it's now badly damaged after swinging away at these things, but you know, that's not to say it can't happen either, so I would say just try not to be swinging away at them excessively. Okay, you see we got some more goodies here. Get your mushrooms. And, of course, your stamina. Did I pick that up already? There's a little bit more over here. Okay, the reason I say to pick those up, there's another cooking pot here. So you can either, you know, grab this metal weapon and smack that metal light thing on fire, or you can just do the tossing thing again and get it lit that way. But I'm going to take a moment to cook just a little bit more. Boy, did I miss. Just a little bit more stamina meals here since I've got the cooking pot right in front of me. Alright, power of choice, folks. Power of choice. Actually, I've got quite a lot of little meals cooked up, so I'm going to cook a full wheel now since I've got the ingredients. We're going to need that later on when we get off the Great Plateau. Oh, there I go again. The Great Sky Island. But hey, at least I caught myself. I didn't need to wait for people to start commenting. What's the Great Plateau? Wrong game, dude. Great Plateau, laughing emoji. Alright, so I always take the time to get your chew jelly. And now it's time for secret cave diving. This one isn't a named cave, so it's not like there's going to be a bubble gym down here, but you do want to take the time to come down here, get your ingredients. And there's also some more charges down here. Absolutely take the time to get those as well. But the real prize is going to be a korok seed. And this one is very Breath of the Wild-like. You don't know how many times I've gotten down here and just wanted to lob a bomb out there at that thing, but wrong game. So, bow and arrow will be the name of the game for that guy. You might be able to reach it with a spear, but yeah, whatever. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and go back up the way we came, just to kind of show you on the map where we're at. Alright, down in that little nook. And at this point, we're going to be following this big, long stairwell while we continue on our way. Okay, there should be some more chews up here, so go ahead and get yourself combat ready. Love that chew jelly. It is almost ice arrow time. Okay, I don't think there's anything in there, but I do want to point out there's some like railing system that goes down into that cave. We're going to wind up on the other side of that, so I just kind of wanted to point that out so you have good frame of reference for where you're actually at this point. Alright, folks, we're going to head on up our stairway here, and I don't think there's really anything of note over there. Maybe a mushroom or something, but nothing too crazy. Actually, there is absolutely nothing there, and now you know. Okay, so another bad boy nest, and again, we're going to have a little bit of a different type of battle here, because we got another one of them triple eyeball dudes. So what I like to do here is just use that bow and arrow and take out the 2 single guys first, because they die easy. So I can usually get both of those guys from up here while I'm doing the aerial bow and arrow work. Get them headshots, folks. Take the time to zoom in, or not zoom in, but really aim in good. Okay, now you saw I kind of took cover behind this stone here. He's got a bow and arrow also. So again, with the damage, I just kind of like to get in there and get that headshot damage. And rinse, lather, and repeat. You know, you can go in there and use your shield and, you know, do an actual proper battle here, do your perfect dodges and all that, but I'm just really partial to my bow and arrow. But, you know, it's kind of time-consuming, so maybe I will just go ahead and do a straight-up battle here. I don't think I... Now, that thing can hurt, so if he's low enough, you can just go in there and swing away and get him, but I noticed he didn't light it on fire that time either, so I was probably okay anyway. But I was going to say this might be a good save point. Before you get into that little fist fight there, just go ahead and save your game, just in case, you know, something goes horribly wrong and you wind up getting your butt handed to you there, which this is probably the first real good chance of that actually happening. Yeah, I died a lot here my first few playthroughs. It took a while to kind of learn their attacks and whatnot. So it's gonna happen. It's part of the game. Alrighty, so, you know, take the time to get your arrows. Bruh. And there should be, yeah, some more over here. You should be able to come off this thing with at least 100 arrows or more, depending on, you know, how much you're going through them and how much you're actually taking the time to collect this stuff. But again, try to get as much ammunition as you absolutely possibly can coming off this thing. I think there's another mushroom down here too, as a matter of fact. Uh-oh. Am I about to make a liar out of me? I think I am. Huh, yeah, okay, well, in one of these structured things with bad guys, there's a mushroom, and I might have already missed it. It might have been on that last little bad boy pad. But anywho, yeah, it's just one mushroom. I'll live. I really thought it was here, though. Alright, anyway, you'll see a minecart and a fan. You can actually attach that to the back and turn it on. But I'm actually just going to kind of foot through here. And I want to collect all this stuff on the way anyway, but I really kind of wanted to show you what we're going to be doing in the depths. So again, act like you're going to throw a weapon. That up arrow will get your menu opened up. Land on what you want. Release up arrow and release R. Now throw those out as far into the darkness as you can possibly get it. Reason being is there's a bit of overlap in the lighting. So this will kind of limit how much you have to toss out, and as you can see, it really lit up this area in between the two when I did that. So that'll just kind of help you to conserve these things, especially later on in the game. And unfortunately, I cannot squeeze past this guy. I try every time, and he catches me every time. So there's another bubble frog in here somewhere, and I think I actually missed this on the video I do actually have posted at the moment, so that's why I'm kind of redoing this walkthrough, because I just wasn't happy with how long it took and the fact that I missed things anyway, and I don't know, I'm kind of a perfectionist. Maybe not a perfectionist, but by golly, I like to get it close enough, you know, and I just kind of felt like I missed a lot that first go around. I was really getting ahead of myself, and it just kind of ended up happening, so anyway, this is like take 5, if you will. Hopefully I'll get it right this time. Okay, so there's our bubble frog. Alright, I'm going to toss one more flower out here because it's dark and scary. But there's really nothing else in here that can kill you, so right now I'm just kind of going to take a moment to collect my zonaite. Always take the time, folks. Always take the time. You're going to be going through zonaite later on, especially if you get build happy. So just grab them now. Grab them while you got them. Alright, that's just about it for this little area. Alright, so please excuse our mess while we renovate. I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss something back there, and it turns out I did not. Funny, right after I said that too, it dawned on me. I was like, wait a minute. But we're actually good, so we're going to continue on. So again, take the time, folks. Always get everything the game throws at you. Especially the zonaite. And do take a moment to talk to him. He's going to open up a store for you. We can't actually use that yet. Well, we could, but not for what we need. What we really need is the crystallized charges so we can increase that battery pack I mentioned. And this is where you do that. The only problem is you need the large zonaite, which we're not going to get here, at least normally. So that's what we really want. Now, don't bother buying this stuff. We're going to get more of these than we're ever going to need in the game. So what we really want to do is wait for those large zonaite. And this is a real good place to come back to periodically. These nodes will respawn. You can come back in here and refarm. But you can also come back in here and... Oh, trying to get my zonaite, and this guy got in the way. But yeah, we can come back periodically throughout the game and reuse that store several times. Over a period of time, that crystallized charge stock will replenish itself. Alright, so again, you know, we're going to gather all this stuff. Now, I'm not going to leave the cave the way I came. I'm going to show you guys that minecart deal that I mentioned earlier. And that will actually save us a little bit of time walking out of here and climbing a steep cliff. So just go ahead and talk to this dude, or just try to grab the fans there, and either way you're going to get them for free. So simply pick one of these bad boys up, and it should track itself. If it doesn't, pick it up and try again, but it'll, as long as you're kind of in the middle there, it'll track itself for you. And go ahead and open your menu, take out a device. Be careful not to get into a rush, spam the button and take all three out, because once you drop them, they are gone forever. Okay, so go ahead and connect that bad boy the right direction. The bump is the intake. So the flatter, or, you know, dome side of that fan is where the fan is going to blow. So that's where we want our thrust to go, of course. And I admit, it's kind of fun riding these things around, so... This beats walking back out of the cave anyway. Alright, so as you can see, this is going to really get us up to an elevated position here. And we're actually going to reuse this minecart anyway, so it's kind of like killing 3 birds with 1 stone. So go ahead and get out of here and pick that bad boy up. Go ahead and set him down. Grab your nearby loot. And just to speed things up a little bit, I'll start doing that. Okay, now that's where we're going to ultimately end up, across the way over there. As you can see, there's a cave opening, but I'm not going to go that way just yet. For right now, there's a couple of things to point out up here. So that minecart I mentioned bringing with, we're going to put that bad boy over there by our korok seed. Do take the time to get your arrows. And we come to our first zonaite dispenser. So I have a general rule of thumb here. I like to toss 10 of these into every one that I meet. 5 at a time, of course, but that's going to toss a bunch of these devices out. And you know, that's not exact math. I mean, I just kind of made it an easy thing to remember. 10 at a time. That does 2 things. That gets me plenty of these things built up in my inventory, and I've never found myself in a situation where I've ran out. And also, I'm going to show you on the map here in a moment. It will actually mark on the map where these things are when you discover them, and it'll tell you what they have, but only assuming you've actually collected everything they have to offer. So as you can see, just to make sure it did, I'm opening that thing now, and if it didn't, there would be question marks. So like, let's say I didn't get a portable pot. There would be question marks there, so that would prompt you to kind of keep throwing stuff in there until it opens that up. And that comes in handy later on, because if you are getting low on something, you can simply look at the map and kind of bounce around and see which one has the item you're looking for. Alright folks, so once again, try to center that and it should track itself. And go ahead and get this guy talked to, and he will get the little side challenge going for you. One way or another, you gotta talk to him. You can't just skip that, unfortunately. Make sure you pick him up from the backpack and glue him to the device here. And away we go. I'm actually going to turn this one off when we get up there, or get close. Again, because we're going to be using the same device on the next leg of our journey. Go ahead and get your twofer. 2 for 1 special for helping them out. Alright, and here's our next treasure chest. Always take the time to get your booty. Alright, just to show you on the map where we're at. I know it's real confusing. I mean, all these little islands and stuff, it really can throw you off. And I don't know if I missed a point there, but I did highlight a spot and I didn't get up there, so yeah, I might have missed something over there. I'm gonna have to go back. At some point, I'm gonna come back to the Great Sky Island. For those of you that remember my Breath of the Wild, anyway, if you were part of that, I didn't 100% the Great Plateau right away. I kind of got, you know, most of it, the stuff that was kind of linear and on the way, and I did deviate for the important stuff like the Korok seeds, but, you know, it's just kind of low level loot at this point anyway. And I like to come back here after I get my paraglider and after I get a good strong bow. Actually, I got this thing backwards, don't I? So yeah, you'll notice this track is broken. Go ahead and put this thing on the track that isn't broken. Whoops. And we're going to be using this to kind of get across there. Why is it not sliding? Alright, so we're going to go ahead and turn this guy on whenever I can figure out how to get inside. Alright, you can turn it off if you like, but if you honestly just walk away and you get far enough away, it'll shut itself off. You have to be within a pretty relatively close range to any device you're using with battery. So as you can see, that thing's going to shut itself off here, and my battery's already refilled. Alright, take the time to get your charges there, and there's one more treasure chest. Get your booty. So yeah, when I come back to kind of finish up the Great Sky Island at some point, there's a real baddie here. I'm going to go ahead and mark him now. I like to come back when I got some real good strong bows, which we're going to get right off the Great Sky Island. Maybe not right away. We have to go get our inventory increase first, and then we're going to go to a little loot spot where we're going to have some real good strong bows to come back with. And ideally, we'll have some more stamina too on our wheel. So we'll be able to take care of that big baddie a lot easier with that strong bow and get the aerial shots in from the air. Alright, so now we're back down where that point is, where I kind of pointed out there was a cave. There will be a couple of chili peppers over here, so grab your spicy peppers. And our third and final cave of our tour today. And this is going to be a little bit trickier. There's more than one way to go through this cave, so a lot of times new players will kind of get lost in here, as I did, and just kind of walk around in circles for a while trying to figure out where you're going. But there's a little bubble frog in here, so we're going to grab him. But essentially it's one long cave that connects with kind of like an in-between cave. So it does kind of, you know, it causes... or it, you know, it makes the ability to where you could actually just start going around in circles. Alright, so go ahead and grab your loot. You see you got some real good gemstones in here. So ultimately, this cave is going to reconnect up there with the cave that we started out in. So simply make your way up, and you will end up in the same spot. Not too much to worry about in here, just a few bats. But beyond that, it's a pretty straightforward cave. And I don't think this is our final cave yet. There's 4 caves, because there's a pit cave where we're going to have a different type of enemy now that I think about it. Okay, so this is where we would have emerged had we come out where that bubble frog was sitting. Just so you know where we're at. Okay, once you get up to the top here, you're going to want to look up and right, and you'll see the opening. And now it's time to finally eat our first 5-minute at a time cold weather protection. 5 minutes at a time, and you're about to see why here. Alright, so do take a moment to climb on top of this little hill that we emerged from out of that cave. And once again, we're going to have a different kind of korok seed, and you're going to have to chop this one down. And you can do this one of two ways. You can jump up into the air and try to catch it in the air, or you can just kind of spam that A button about where you think it's going to land. And as long as you catch it in the air one way or the other, you'll be good. If you miss it like I just did, you'll have to kind of, you know, go back up there and hit it again and try to catch it before it makes landfall. And it's going to go a different direction every time, so you can't count on it landing in the same spot each time. Alright, folks, so just to show you on the map where we're at now. So there's that point I missed. Again, we'll hit that when we come back to the island later on. We'll have a paraglider. It'll be just a million times easier to hit that at that point. And let's see here. Some other points we'll hit later on. Will be that boy. And once we get ascend, we can actually access these. So I'll do the upper one there. We'll be able to hit that guy. So yeah, we're going to have a lot coming up here. But for now, we're going to jet out to that overhang that was sticking out for yet another korok seed. And you'll notice if you stick to the concrete surfaces or stone surfaces, you'll be able to run much faster. So hopefully that'll kind of speed things up for you a little bit there. Uh-oh, what have I done? Boy, I really messied that one up, didn't I? That thing was all sorts of crooked. Alright, so there's Yahahaha. From here, we're going to head back the way we came because it's an awful fall drop down, and it will most certainly be death. So from here, I like to kind of stick to the left. There's some more peppers up here, but really, there's a couple of baddies I like to headshot. And this just gives you a real good spot to do that from. But before I deal with them, I want my spicy peppers. And away we go. I'm going to take care of the spear guy first. Just because he can really reach out and touch someone with that thing. And that someone is you. Alrighty. Easy peasy. There's another cooking pot. If you need it, feel free. Another stone there that you can make an axe with if you need it. Go ahead and do that, because we do need to make a tree ladder here. And we're almost to that point where we're going to be doing that. After this next cave here, that's where the fun begins. Okay, so now here is where our first chew jellies are going to pop out that are ice chew. So it doesn't really matter. What I'm actually going to do is go ahead and initiate that spawn in so that they start just kind of going at each other. And hopefully they'll be able to get his life force down just enough to where it makes our fight just a little bit quicker and easier. Okay, so he's already got him dead. Now, if that turns all of those chew jellies into fire chew jelly instead of ice chew jelly, that's really gonna be okay. We'll be able to turn those fire chew jellies into ice chew jelly later on. I wonder how many times I've said chew jelly. We should get a chew jelly counter going. Okay, get them headshots. It'll get them dead just that much quicker. Is he dead yet? He is not dead yet. And the reason I like to really keep a distance with this dude, he's got this weapon that it's like a flamethrower, and boy does that have a good range to it. So yeah, I would just, you know, try to do this one especially from a good distance. Alright folks, so we can now turn chew jelly into ice chew jelly. Now remember, there's a throw out limit, so don't toss any more than 10 things out at a time. But since there's already a chew jelly sitting out, I'm only going to toss 9 out. And then number 10 is the one that's already sitting there. So from here, try to clip that one that's ice without clipping any more with your arrow. And the goal is to turn as many as possible, into ice chew jelly. Alright, so again with that formula, it's 9 and 1. And at this point you could actually just use a ice arrow, but you know, save the arrow and do it this way, I guess. Matter of fact, yeah, we'll do it that way. Let's see if I can get that ice back. I'm not going to get that lucky, am I? Okay, so what I'll demonstrate is just making an ice arrow. We do it just like we made the fire arrows, but get it kind of far away. But don't be standing too close, because again, it's going to have a blast radius to it. And you don't want to be standing in that blast radius when your ice arrow finds a target. Alrighty, only 3 more here. Honestly, I'm not going to burn. I'll do that again at a later time when I can make more. Make, you know, bigger bang for your buck. That'll get us plenty going. Alright folks, so here's our next cave. And I think we're free to go ahead and dive right in here. There's really not much else of note in the area. And look at that, our cold meal just ran out and we are safe and sound inside a cave. That's why I say 5 minutes at a time, folks. 5 minutes at a time. And here we have our first bomb arrows of the game. Wow, that weapon's finally breaking. We had that for a good long while there. Okay, there's actually a treasure chest out here. They ought to call this like the Walk of Courage or something. It's really unnerving being this high up, and again, if you fall off the Great Island, you'll, and now assuming you don't actually catch the ground down there, you'll just fall down and lose a heart, and they'll respawn you right back up here. If you catch the ground down there, that'll most likely kill you. Matter of fact, I'm going to take a real big leap of faith here and say that might kill you. Alright, so here's our first different type of enemy I was talking about earlier. So you can actually freeze this guy, but I'm actually going to demonstrate 2 different ways to get him without freezing him. So be careful not to get too close, because he's going to eat you, and whatever weapon you have in your hands at that moment, he's going to take it away from you. So if he opens up like that, simply use a spear, because it'll reach, and then just start wailing away with your next best weapon at that point. Now, I don't think we're going to get him in one go here, so next I'll show you the bow and arrow technique. Unfortunately, you got to be real quick, so I already have that guy ready to go. And as soon as, you know, he goes to lunge it, you're going to have to already be firing. Come on, guy. Come on, guy. There he is. So real quick there. If you're not quick enough, he's going to eat you and take your bow. Unless you're far enough away where he doesn't quite eat you. Can't say he does a ton of damage. The more irritating thing is he takes your weapons. Alright, now every single one of these guys is going to have some kind of treasure chest in it, so I won't mark those as chests, because it's not exactly, you know, map treasure hunting, per se. But just know that all of those enemies are going to have some kind of chest in it. Alright, you got some more light bloom seeds here. Ooh, I almost missed that bomb. Not a lot of bombs right away. And in case you're wondering, yes, you can attach that to an arrow as well and make a bomb arrow. But again, we're not going to get a ton of these things right out the gate here, so I would just say hold on to them for the time being. You're going to find plenty of uses for those guys later on. Okay, so we got our way out there, but for right now, let's see if I can get him to open up. Ogres have layers. Onions have layers. Alright. Again, you're probably not going to get them in one go, but that's okay. We'll just rinse, lather, and repeat. And we'll get them that way. Come on, bruh. Come on. Eat me. There we go. Wow, I actually almost got him in that one go, didn't I? That was close. So if you're using a stronger weapon, you might actually just be able to do that in one. Okay, again, I'm not going to mark that one because that's the enemy, but this one is definitely markable. Alrighty, there we have it. Okay, so actually, since I got the map open, our shrine is right up here. That's where we're ultimately heading. And you're probably going to want a cold meal for this one. And you might as well just go ahead and do the 5-minute. You might be able to get there in less, but there's some things I want to point out here. So I'll be walking around for just a few minutes. But from right here, we could actually get up there via this root system. So if you don't have an axe and you don't want to make your tree ladder, you know, you can always just kind of migrate back over that way and climb up via the tree roots. But I am going to come over here just for a moment. There is a little loot spot. Nothing too crazy. Just another quick little zonaite charge. And I also kind of want to point out this bad boy nest. We're going to be hitting this after the shrine. But there is an ascend point over there that we're going to be going to loot. Alright, so since I've got myself up in this little spot, I'll show you how to make that tree ladder real fast. And hit that loot spot I was talking about. Oh yeah, you need more than 2 here. I don't know what I was thinking. That takes 3 trees to get up top of. Alright, it doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be functional. And that should stand up there and kind of make its way into that little nook. Okay, so here's that little loot spot I mentioned. Again, nothing too crazy, just kind of a few loose items here and some more arrows. Alright, that's pretty much it. So from here, feel free to make your way over to our shrine for Ascend when we come back.